All right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah, coming this evening with an awesome message. Yes, 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 an awesome message. It's a message that, and it's also, I'm gonna give you time to get you a pen and a piece of paper so that you too can write down, and even if you have a highlighter, to be able to highlight and write down these chapters and verses in this message, because it can be something that if you get in a conversation with someone, you can refer to these here chapters and verses that Sister Deborah is going to cover. And I will say the topic is I wouldn't, I think I got that wrong. I spelled it wrong. I wouldn't want anyone to have to endure truth. I wouldn't want, wait a minute, let me just get it like I got on my sheet here. I wouldn't want anyone to have to endure truth. To endure truth. I wouldn't want anyone to have to endure truth. But my lesson is going to be the ball, made the dropped ball again. The dropped ball. There is a ball that has been dropped, okay, again. And that is really what I want to also cover this evening. The ball has been dropped on this lesson right here, this topic that I'm going to cover. But I want to say, I wouldn't want anyone to have to endure truth. I wouldn't want anyone to have to endure truth. I really wouldn't want no one to have to endure truth. Just to say that is real saddening because truth, mm, 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 mm. Just thinking back to all of the servants of the Most High Yah, most of them, and how they had to leave up out of here in not a, how would I say, a good way, but they still had to leave. But the way that they left out the Father's servants, it was pretty harsh. The world didn't treat them good. Yeah, the world didn't treat them good at all. And being so that they were in time past, and the day that we are in is like no other. It's like they can tell me what took place in their day and time, and I can hear it. But just guess what? They can't step in to this day and time in which Sister Deborah is in right here. Now, I can step into their day and time based on what they left for us to know. But when I look back to yesterday, I realize that this day cannot compare to yesterday. And again, I say, I wouldn't want anyone to have to endure truth. They all left out of here, most of them, a harsh death, but they left out with truth. In this day and time, they were set up from the flow up for the time period in which they reside back in those days. But I, Sister Deborah, say to them, which cannot hear me, but to those who can, their time period cannot compare to what's going on today. See, people, I wouldn't want individuals to have to endure truth. I have to say that because I want people to know truth. But to know truth, you have to endure truth. And being not a dead prophet, but a living one, I see clearly that people wouldn't even want to endure truth. Because this type of truth today comes with a greater suffering than yesterday. See, what you all don't understand is people don't grip the fact that today is worse than yesterday. Remember back in the days, even when our grandparents, and how we didn't have all these chemicals and all these things put in our food and all this pharmaceuticals. Do y'all remember that? So just imagine back in yesterday, even as far as you want to go back in Torah, you can go where as far as you can go. But let me tell you, being a living prophet and not a dead one that come to bring light in the midst of all this darkness that exists on this face of this earth. And I will say unto you, I would not want to have to endure truth. Because truth itself, just standing up itself, is more than what people are willing to live with and for. Back in the days, they didn't have to go through what's happening in this day. Like I say, you can go to pharmaceuticals, you can go to food, working, expense, every expense, the cost of things, everything today is worse than yesterday. To the point where the Father wants us to understand even the darkness that many walk therein in this world. It's a different darkness, you guys, than the darkness of yesterday. It's so dark till it's called, it's prophesied as worse than any day that ever exists on the face of the earth. And you would never, ever, ever grip it because what? The way people are taking on this living as if nothing is going on. How can that be? How can something like that be? That people are standing as if nothing has been prophesied and nothing has been before them based on what was prophesied. How can that be? So I, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness, I say unto you, I wouldn't want none of you all to have to endure truth. I thought that that's what I wanted. I really did. I thought that truth is what everybody should be seeking and wanting and desiring. And truly, truth is all there is left in this living. That's the way I felt it. I wanted everybody to know the truth that rests in me, that it may rest in them through the Spirit, the same Spirit that rests in me. I desired that. But what I come up to really understand it in my spirit, do you really want them to endure? See, I will want you with the truth. But the endurance that comes with truth, You wouldn't be able to handle it. The things that I see from the wilderness level, the things that I see and the things that the spirit of the Ruach shows me and teach me, let me tell you, the people in this world that's on this earth is no way ready for. I look at and I thought about it today. I'm like, wait a minute, do you really want people with truth? I don't want the people to have to endure truth. And to really have truth, you would have to endure something, y'all. Do you all really believe what truth they had back in the ancient times? Just imagine. It was a better time period as far as darkness. But yet, each and every last one of them, which would be like 90%, that had truth, had to die with truth and suffered with truth, had to endure with truth, had to walk with truth, had to talk with truth. And while they walked and while they talked, guess what? They got beaten. They got put in prison. And then they got murdered. You see? You see what I'm saying? And that what's going on today, the level of darkness today wasn't touching the way it was yesterday. Do you know Moses and Abraham and Jacob and Isaac and all of them couldn't be able to survive this day? That's why he put them in that day, where he knew that they could survive because he would keep them. Could he have kept them today? Sure, he can. But if they could just come back today, they'll plead with the Father to end today itself. I know it without a doubt. Because of what we're in, there's no truth. We have totally forsaken truth to the highest degree, to where I wouldn't want someone to even know the real truth, because there's fully endurance is the price to having it. So it makes a lot of sense. It's going back to what he says. The gate, Deborah, is narrow for a reason. Even though you might not want individual to have to endure truth, because you know really what it means to endure. I don't think he set it up that way. I believe that the endurance, those who's going through the narrow gate, would have to be those that has been created to endure truth. That's the only way I can think of that. That's why it's so narrow. Enduring the truth is not for everybody. And that means he did not set it up for everybody to endure truth. Because in my little brain, I'm like saying, well, why do I have to endure while others play in it? Well, why would I have to? And then I thought, oh, but hold up, Father. No, I wouldn't want them to endure it. No, I wouldn't want them to endure truth. Because the endurance and the long suffering is not something you endure and you long suffering. It's the patience of the Father upholding you up. And he has not chosen that for everybody. Because there's no way. I tried to even feel what it would feel like for people to really know truth. And I said today, no, I don't want nobody to have to endure truth. The endurance that comes with truth. Do I really want that for people? No. Because it comes with a sorrow, even though you carry the ruach in you. It's the reality of you looking at things through a clear mirror. And you can, not the mirror, but a window. You're looking straight in somebody's house. They don't have no curtains, and you can see straight through the house. But what you're seeing is the Father's allowing you to see straight through the world. And when you're seeing straight through the world, you don't see nothing but darkness. And if people understood the darkness, you'll understand tribulation. You'll understand perilous times. You'll understand lawlessness. You'll understand everything that's taking place. You'll fully understand what's actually taking place. And it's not a good feeling, nor do it come with a good feeling. So this endurance and long suffering is the patience that the Father gives you to keep holding on to him, because he got it. But I would not want, and I said it, y'all. I said it to the Most High. Father, I wouldn't want them to endure truth, because it's such a price to pay. It is a price to pay. And it is at a level where I'm sitting here watching it, watching the demonic, the wicked, the Satan's creatures at full work, ruling the grounds, the earth itself. And everybody walking around like, hey, it ain't nothing to this. I got this. I got this. And I'm like, Father, I wouldn't want nobody to see what you're allowing me to see, Father. Yeah, it's enduring what you're seeing. And guess what? The endurance is when you see it, you suffer the fact that it ain't nothing that's going to change. And then you in this and you seeing it and you looking at other people wondering, wait a minute, what's going on with them? They don't see what's going on. No, you don't want them to see it. You don't want them. Now, just imagine if you had to go back into the biblical time period, as they call it, back in the ancient time. But that time, they didn't have all this stuff, this darkness. They didn't have the level of darkness today, y'all. We always say, when yesterday we did this, it wasn't like this yesterday. It was, but not the level of darkness. This is the first time ever since the world began that darkness has hit its highest peak. And I believe how it got so quickly high is because no one sees it for what it is. It goes back to me saying, I wouldn't want nobody to really see it. Not the truth of what's before them. Not the truth that is before them. So it matches the narrow gate, where very few, Deborah, shall find what you are actually seeing today. That's that comfort for me. When I'm thinking, okay, but Father, I wouldn't want nobody to have to, oh, you don't have to worry about that. Because very few shall find what you see today. That's that comfort to know exactly what I'm saying. I wouldn't want no one to have to endure truth. because everyone has their own way of seeing truth. Let them see it the way they see it. Because if they had to see it the way the Ruach has allowed me to see it, they wouldn't survive. They wouldn't survive. And I'm not talking about those who are come down here to live this darkness. I'm talking about even those that even have the light. I wanted to check y'all with this whole fact. You don't want to see what truth really is. I'm finna break this here down to you all, and it's called, again, they dropped the ball again. But the blessing is, here I am in this day and time, recognizing a ball that been dropped since the book of Genesis, since the beginning of time. Let's just say it like that. And no one have been said, heard, spoke about, preach, and teach. No one going back to come up and speak at the level of where Sister Deborah is covering things. And what I'm finna cover right now is a prime example of so many things that they have took this book and call themselves saved and sanctified and full of the Holy Spirit. They have been redeemed and they have it all. But from the level of real truth, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot. But for you to get it, I wouldn't want you to endure it. No, I wouldn't. Because I think about my brothers back in time and how they lost their lives doing exactly what Sister Deborah is doing today. They did. So that shows you what truth stands for. Truth is no play. I know it. That's the way people live it. Like it's a play toy. It's something just sitting there. So what? You know, you got your truth. I got mine. You got your truth. I got mine. They took truth like that and made it me and mine, yours and mine. I'd rather for you to stay right there with me and mine, or yours and mine. Stay there. Because if you ever get a chance, which I wouldn't want you to know real truth, you would have to endure something. Okay? So with this message, I'm going to teach it. And if you have your pen and your piece of paper and your Bible, I'm just going to show you how we continue to think. Not we, come on, pull that on out. People continue to think, even in this darkest hour, not hour, day, they still continue to think from the level of the flesh. And it never was created for those who are holding the truth to hold flesh instead of spirit. I'm coming from Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, it says, "Therefore shall a man leave his mother and his father, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh." Sister Deborah gonna break this down like she ain't never broke it down before. So here in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24, it says, "Therefore shall a man leave his mother and father, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." You all, since I've been on this devil platform, there are so many Judah men that didn't preach this thing totally out of darkness. No light to it at all. But I'm going to break it. First, I'm going to have to bring it up, y'all, and then I'm going to land that bad boy down. Okay? And in the midst of it, you're going to learn something today. That's why it's so important that you have your Bible and your pen and a pencil of paper so you can write the chapters and the verses down. So here you hear in Genesis chapter 2 and 24. If I had to stand on a pulpit, I would have to break this thing down. What do you mean, Deborah? You just said exactly that. Therefore shall a man leave his mother and father. Stop right there. What is a mother and father to a man? What is he actually leaving? Deborah, don't you go there tonight? Oh, yes, I am. I'm going all the way. Come go with me. Okay. Genesis chapter 22 and verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his mother and father. What is he leaving? Flesh. Daddy flesh, mama flesh. What is he leaving? Daddy flesh, mama flesh. Hello. And shall cleave to his wife, which is a what? Flesh. And they shall become one flesh. So what's the big idea? Now, when you hear this set there in Genesis chapter 2, it's informing you that he's leaving mommy and daddy, which is flesh, to cleave to a wife, which is also flesh. What's the big idea? You see how we messed that up? We forsake everything from the beginning with simply not understanding. We are on. It ain't like cause you leaving your flesh mama, your flesh daddy, that you getting a flesh wife, that you accomplishing something. See, y'all didn't know that, did you? we gonna land that thing. We gonna land that thing real good, so y'all can really get a grip of how the Jesuits, the Roman Catholics, and the Jews have set this book in place for you to be as ignorant as you was yesterday as well as today. So then I go to my next verse, my next chapter, and I find it in Matthew's. But no, go back, Deborah. Okay, Father, I'm going back, Father. Here I go. I'm going back. He wants you to know one thing in there. They shall be one flesh. It ain't like they really enter into anything. Just two. When they are united, they become one. Oh, okay. One what? Flesh. Don't get it bent. I know you done taught it and heard it all, but you finna hear something you ain't never heard before. So now I get to Matthew's chapter 19 and verse 5 and 6. In Matthew's chapter 19 and verse 5 and 6, let me get my Matthew's here so I could be able to cover that verse 6. Let me get that. In Matthew's chapter 19, just hear me out, y'all. And then it all gonna make sense, and you're gonna wonder, wait a minute, what did we do? Okay, watch this. When you get to Matthew's chapter 19 and verse 5 through 6, it says, and said, for this cause, this is Yeshua, shall a man leave his mother and father, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two twain shall become one flesh. Okay, what's the next verse? Verse 6. Wherefore they are no more twain, which is two, but one. What therefore Yah has joined together, let no man put us as under. Put as under. What Yah has joined together. Let me tell y'all something. All these thousands of years, we know that back even during the crucifixion, Roman was that powerful. So do you know what type of level of power they are today? They have mastered this thing so well that this prophet in the wilderness is afraid for you to even get truth because it comes with a price. And I wouldn't want you to have to suffer the price that you would have to endure. And listen to what he says in verse 6. Wherefore they are no more one, no more two, but one. He wanting you to understand a man that leave his mother and father, which is a flesh and a flesh, and cleave to another flesh, they only becoming one in the flesh. We're still dealing with flesh. Okay. We're still dealing with flesh. I'm going to mess you up. And watch this. Verse 3. Mark. In the book of Mark, chapter 10. In the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 7 and 8. We're just going to say 7 because it says the same thing it says in Matthew's. In Mark chapter 10 and verse 7, for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife. So what is it that a man would leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife? And they become one flesh. We're still dealing with flesh, y'all. What's going on? Something is going on. One flesh. Now, go to Ephesians. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 31 and 32. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 31 and 32, and it reads, for this cause shall a man leave his mother and father, and shall join unto his wife, and they two shall become one flesh. He's sending a powerful, powerful message. Verse 32. We in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 32 now. This is a great mystery. Praise the Most High God. This is a great mystery. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31 and 32. Hear it out. For this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall be joined into his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. Then here go 31. This is a great mystery. Notice it's a great mystery. But I speak concerning Christ and the church. Christ and the church. Christ and the church. So what that tells you, it spoke to you about the flesh and how it unites as two into oneness. But he wants you to understand the mystery of that. Meaning he's taking you from the realm of the flesh, like the flesh so think things supposed to be, and he takes it to a great mystery and call it, but I speak concerning Christ. Where's Yeshua in there? I speak Christ and the church, the body of Hamashiach. The body of Hamashiach. That's the mystery that even to today, 2026, the world dropped the ball on. Even those who said they in the light, those who said they spirit and truth, those who said they redeemed, they sanctified, they full of the Holy Spirit. Why would he tell you a man would leave his mother and father and join his wife, and they should become one flesh, and then say, this is a great mystery. But I speak concerning Christ and the church. The mystery is, there's a mystery, and the ball was dropped. And even to this very day, people have no idea that a man that would join with his wife and they become one, only in the flesh. And you're gonna learn something about this flesh, becoming one in the flesh. You're going to learn something about it. And even in verse 32, it says in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 32, it's telling you that this is a great mystery. But it's a mystery that the Father kept a mystery all these years, even to today. People have never looked at the ideal of when he says that. They think that it's a great thing, to the point men and women will battle the fact that now his wife is more important than his mother. Now he has to leave. Watch this. Now he has to choose sides. He don't have to choose sides. Why? Anybody in the live chat? Why is it a man shouldn't have to choose between his mother and his wife? Anybody in the live chat? Why shouldn't he have to choose? Anybody in the live chat? Why should not a man have to choose between his mother and his wife? But I'm just showing you the sickness in people. It's a different type of love. That's total. Because that's when you speak of what they fail to realize is the way the world look at love is all kind. People love their plants. Y'all should see how people can take care of their plants. They love them so much. They put a lot of work into their plants. People love their animals. People love their animals a whole lot. Men love their cars. You see? Grandparents love their grandchildren, seem as if it's a different type of love because they let them get away with stuff. So this sick love that's on the earth can be spreaded far and beyond. So when they want to make a man think that he's now supposed to love his wife more than he loves his mother, it's the sick love to the sick flesh. You know why? What makes it sick? Anybody know? What makes it sick? Anybody? What make this love that people have here on this earth a sick love? One more time. What makes this love that people have on this earth a sick love? What will make a man feel and his wife feel that now you are to leave your mother? Because they look at that word leave and they don't understand how the Roman Catholic has tampered with it. Why you say that, Deborah? Now I'm finna just tell y'all. Okay, someone said it's of the flesh. Yes, there you go. It's of the flesh. 100% correct. It's of the flesh. Perfect. That's the only thing you love. A dog, a plant. You mean you can love a dog and you can love a plant? You can love your cars? You see? And you can love your wife. You can love your mother. You can love your daddy. You can love your sisters and brothers. But you're just loving flesh. The same flesh you left to become one with your wife is still what? Flesh. You get what I'm saying? So it's really no such thing, but it's the way people have lived all this time. They just really think this is such a big thing. They don't understand you living totally out of any truth. You ain't got no truth. You ain't got no truth, none whatsoever. No understanding in what you're doing. None whatsoever. And that's how people live. They live with the ignorance of everything. Now watch this. This is going to get y'all. Watch this. So therefore, this thing about the love in this world, it can go many places. Hundreds and thousands of ways you can love. I can love the fragrance of this here and go buy another bottle and another bottle because I so love it. You see the level of this love? It's only for the flesh. So when a man become one flesh with his wife, that's the key. That's the key. Now he has to look at his wife as he looked to himself. And his wife has to look at him as she looked to herself. That's where the oneness come in. They are one now. And if you're one in the flesh, your sense should say, now my wife and I are one. I left my mother and father whom I've loved to become one with a woman I love. Now we take our one love and love them the way I loved them before I left them. You see, I go to your family. You and me are one. I love your family the way you love your family because you and I are one. Do y'all get it? But do you see how so sickening people become? Once they get married, they think this is time to divide some things. Don't do this, and you're not, oh, you don't stay with your mother now. We together, we did. No, baby, you forgot. We are one now. It don't mean me stop doing everything and become what you tell me to do. And it ain't for you to stop doing everything and stop you from doing everything that you want to do. We have to come into a oneness. But we can't put things on others because we didn't came into a oneness. Now that's just more of our love. Now it's loving your parents, and our love is marrying your parents. But somewhere these men think that they just supposed to drop family and run over there. Now that they cleave to her, he means they everything is to their wife. That's not never been what Yah would have even designed. You know why? He could give a rat's behind about you and your wife coming together as flesh. I'm finna show you why. In the book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 32 said, and this, Deborah, is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Because see, that in 31 is different from the Christ and the church. So that's where the mystery is at. Let's continue. So now let's go to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 18 and 22. Proverbs 18 and 22. It reads, whosoever findeth a wife, now hear it, y'all, whosoever findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of Yah. Woo! You know what I like about that there, y'all? Because he finna bust that thing wide open. Woo! How did we drop the ball on this? I do not know, y'all. I cannot, but we didn't drop the ball on everything, so it don't matter. But listen to what he says in Proverbs 18 and verse 22. Whosoever findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtain favor in Yah. It's a trick to it, not a trick. It's a mystery to it, y'all. Now, you have to go to Proverbs 19. Proverbs 18 and 22 says, whosoever findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of Yah. Proverbs 19 and verse 14 says, house and riches are the inheritance of a father. That's a natural father. And a Putin woman is from Yah. Do you hear that woman? Who's she from? Ah, yeah, right. But he called her a prudent woman, wife, is from Yah. So go look and see what somebody tell me what a Putin, I think I pronounced it, a Putin. In English, somebody give me the definition, and somebody give me the definition in Hebrew. Since it's telling us that the wife, he telling the husband, no, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did. That is a good thing, and it is a favor of Yah, and he finds a good thing is a Putin. Go there, find that. Somebody in the live, find that for me. It's P-R-U-D-N-T, Putin. I need it in English and I need it in Hebrew because they both said the same thing. Okay? What he's saying to you all, the wife is not, the man that findeth a wife is a good thing. Only if she have the spiritual qualities. They didn't toss this thing all the way upside down and all around. And then it made me even go back to Proverbs 31 woman. That was the spirit of Yah giving us an example in how he would want us to conduct ourselves. It wasn't a woman that had those qualities. It was the Father feminine that showed us that we too can have those qualities. You see? But listen to where it says here. In Proverbs 19 and 14, the house and the riches are the inheritance of the Father. They're going to materialistic things. And a Putin wife is from Yah. Oh, sucky. Show and care. Come on now, you got to do better than show and care, baby, because it's got more in there, more than that. Okay, somebody got here. Wait a minute. It means being cautious, calculating, and looking ahead, avoiding harm. Okay, now in Hebrew, I should have put the Hebrew strong. In Hebrew, it says, this is what it says in Hebrew. Let me get it. Wisely, wisdom, insight, carefully, foresight, navigating life, and successful. Go back to Hebrew. Listen, because you all understand what insight means? Foresight, wisdom. Wait a minute, what wisdom is this, Father? If it's a wife that the Father has given you, this is what he's saying. Proverbs 19 and verse 14, a house and the riches are the inheritance of the fathers, meaning of the men. And a Putin wife, let me tell y'all, men, it comes from Yah. You see, it is a gift from Yah. Okay, and in Hebrew it says wisely. So someone did have wisely, I think. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Act in wisdom. Yes, now you got it. Cautious, good judgment, especially regarding the future consequence and practicing matters. I don't know what this is. That's English. No, that's English, but that's still good because English and my Hebrew, both of them says the same thing. It says the same thing. If you go back to the Hebrew, it'll even say insight. Do you know what insight is? It says insight and carefully foresight, navigating life successfully, wisely, wisdom. You see? That's what the Father calls a wife from him. You see what I'm saying? So while we're thinking it's all about getting married, leaving your mother and father, and cleaving to your wife, and y'all become one, that's flesh. He just wanted y'all to know that's flesh. But when I and you find a good, what it say, Proverbs 18 and 22, and you find it, whosoever findeth a wife, find it a good thing, only when it's a wife that has the characteristics of the Spirit, the things of the Spirit of Yah. Because in Proverbs 19 and 14, he says, the house and the riches are the inheritance of the Father. He's letting you know those are the materialistic things. And a prudent wife is from Yah. You see? So when he's saying a man and a woman, they become one, he wanted y'all to understand that's in the flesh. So don't get it mixed up. Don't get it bent. That's just in the flesh. You see? And he's letting them know whosoever findeth a wife, findeth a good thing. So what makes that wife a good thing? Not because you found her and she found you and you are in one in the flesh. That don't make her good. Ooh-wee. It does not make her good. And someone has also, wait a minute, the Hebrew is meaning behave oneself wisely. Okay. Now, I don't know where our Strongs are at because I know mine's Hebrew Strong as well. It has wisely, but it had wisdom, insight, careful, foresight, navigating life, successful. Then when I get to English, it's acting with wisdom, foresight, same thing the Hebrew said, cautious, especially regarding practicing medicine, not practicing matters or risks. So this would make her good. But when you look at wisdom and wisely and insight and foresight, that stuff is spiritual. And then he turned around in Proverbs 19 and verse 14, and a prudent wife is from Yah. You see? So when he said a man will leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and they become one flesh, then he tells you that in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 32, this is a mystery. But I speak concerning Christ and the church. So the mystery is, it's more to it. So let's get into it. Okay. Now watch this. Oh, it's more to it. Okay. So let's go to Romans chapter 8, verse 7. Romans chapter 8 and verse 7. Let's go there. Romans chapter 8 and verse 7. we kind of getting this thing too mixed up. And it ain't gonna say we messed it up anyway. It's over. Uh, and what it does also show you that all these Hebrew Israelites, these Judah men, they had it wrong all the time. So when you run around here getting these wives after wives after wives after wives, he's sitting here telling you, wait a minute, hold up, bro. There's a mystery in this. Christ and the church. And all these wives you find in pleasure, what? How are you becoming one flesh when you got many wives? How is that following the protocol after all the verses said a man will leave his mother and his father and cleave to his wife and you become one flesh? Not 5 or 6 fleshes. He didn't say that. You won't find it. That's what kicks all that to the curb. That stuff does not make any sense. And they try to use Abraham, Jacob, and all of that, and they can't really use them. Because everything, a lot of people don't understand, even in Leviticus, a lot of things the father said, it's enough. Y'all stop doing all this mess. He cut out a lot of things. But the men today, they don't follow the protocol of what? Truth. That's why people are able to teach people on this platform and lead the mass and go out into the forest and build places where they can draw people all out to them and be on this devil platform and get people to listen to them because they out of the protocol of the Most High Yah. They are not in no type of truth order. They just doing them, and everybody said, oh, I want to go with a broad gate. He said, can I follow you? Yeah, come on. Ooh, yeah, we can have many wives. Now listen to this. In the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 7 through 14. Watch what they say, y'all. Watch this, y'all. In Romans chapter 8, verse 7, because the carnal mind is enmity against Yah. And what is the carnal mind? Anybody know? Somebody. What is the carnal mind? Anybody? Anybody? What is the carnal mind that is enmity against the Father? Flesh. Exactly. That's it. So, because you leave your mother and your father and cleave to your wife, all he was telling you is that y'all become one flesh. Now, is this flesh enmity toward Yah? Just because you and your wife are one flesh. Is this the flesh he's talking about as well? Yes or no? Let's read it again. Because a carnal mind is enmity against the Father. And if the carnal mind is enmity against the Father, the carnal mind is flesh. It's a flesh mind, but you see, so therefore, the flesh mind, it's just he left his mother and father's flesh or flesh mind and cleaving to a wife, and they still got the what? The flesh mind. Y'all see that? It's still the flesh mind. Now watch this here. For it is not subject to the law of Yah. See, a lot of people in the world has no idea that the law of Yah is not the same law that they dancing around with the Hebrew Israelites in the tribe of Judah. It's not the same law. The law of Yah is spiritual. Okay? So therefore, right here, he never told us nowhere. When a man leave his mother and his father, which is flesh, he cleave to his wife and they become two spiritual beings. No, he always told you it's still flesh. coming to me and being something. That's what he's saying. We did that lie. We lied. That's why these men are out here having all these women. And they having all these babies and dropping them all over the place because nobody followed the protocol from the beginning. They never abide by the way that Yah orchestrated it from the beginning. And I'm going to give y'all a little something at the end. You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. It's just showing you how we've been living a way of strictly flesh. And then in verse 7, he said, because the carnal mind is enmity against Yah. For it is not subject to the law of Yah, neither indeed can be. So it's telling you when this man leave his mother and father and he cling to his wife and him become one in the flesh. This is why they have that sick thing now. I'm about my wife. You see how sick they are? Because they don't understand you ain't about nothing but flesh. There are six verses explaining to you a man leaves his mother and father and he cleaves to his wife and they become one flesh. You just no more two flesh. You're one. But it don't mean nothing. And then he turn around in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 32 telling you, but this is a great mystery because I'm talking about Christ and the church. Letting you know they went out of order and made it something that it shouldn't have been. And because of that, that's why all this chaos is on the earth. A whole bunch of it. Now watch this here. Okay, let me give you another one. I'm gonna see if somebody can. Do you all remember when in Matthew chapter 10 and Luke chapter 12, where he said, "I come to bring the sword to divide"? What did he say? He said, "I come to bring the sword to divide in the family," and he got it just as clear as day. Not the father and the father-in-law, but the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. And I'm like saying, but why them? This is why. Because they misunderstand the ideal of becoming one flesh don't mean a rat's behind, but what's in the flesh. And that flesh becoming one still is against the Father. Ain't that deep? It's just more power against who? The Father. Not like they got power over him or nothing, but just showing you become two, you become one in the flesh, and it's just more strength in y'all flesh to be against the Father. Because one might want to go and the other one might not want, you see? So you have to look at it in the way heavens has allowed it to be orchestrated and how man has taken it out of the order. We should put it back where it was and understand. Now I'm listen to what I'm saying. So when I get to verse 8, Romans chapter 8 and verse 8. So then now listen now, y'all, here it is. Verse 8, Romans chapter 8 and verse 8. So then they that are in the flesh, do y'all hear that? Now, I know none of y'all hear it. None of you all hear this. Listen to what it says in verse 8. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yah. You see that? They that are in the flesh cannot please Yah. So what does that say about 6 verses saying a man leave his mother and father and he cleave to his wife and they become one flesh? Is he speaking of them? Is he speaking of them in verse 8? So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yah. Now, is he speaking of them that are in the flesh? One flesh cannot please Yah. I'm trying to show y'all how we made the flesh. No, it's yes. You're right. He's speaking of them. Yes. Why? Because we're still dealing with the flesh. You get what I'm saying? We are still dealing with the flesh. And I'm going to tell y'all what y'all did miss. Let me tell y'all what y'all missed. We were just speaking here. Watch this here. We were just speaking here when he said, whosoever find a wife, find it a good thing, obtain it favor of Yah. See, we missed it. The father was telling the men that if you find a good wife, this is a good thing. Because if you find a wife that is from me, that's a good thing. He ain't saying that the husband is a good thing, but he's saying, but if you find a wife, that's a good thing. And then in Proverbs 19 said, verse 14, the house and the riches is the inheritance of the fathers, which are the men. And a prudent wife is from Yah. So a man can marry a woman that is from Yah. And he's trying to say, this is a good thing. Ooh, wait, somebody in trouble. Somebody in trouble. So when you go back to verse 8, Romans chapter 8 and verse 8, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please Yah. But what happened is the Father is saying, if you find a wife, this is a good thing. The good thing is that she's a wife that Yah has given you. That's what makes it good. You see? You see? And they would never have taught you all that because they have ridiculed women when they stole her identity in Genesis 1. They'll never let her make it back home right. But then it says in verse 9, but ye are not in the flesh, but is in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Yah dwells in you, now if any man have not the spirit of Christ, he is none of his. Verse 10, and if Christ be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. Okay? Verse 11. No. Let me kind of stop now. Wait a minute. Hold up, Deborah. How far are you supposed to go? Yeah, I'm supposed to go on to 14. But if the spirit of him that raises Christ, raises Yeshua, the dead, from the dead, dwell in you, he that raised up Christ. You see how they messed that up? Listen, look at verse 11, y'all. You see, this is where you know they don't know how, they don't get it, and they messed it up, and they might have got it, but messed it up for you. Listen to what it says in verse 11. But if the spirit of him, who is him? Christ, that raised up Yeshua from the dead, dwells in you. He that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal body. Now you see how they flipped it? Now you just said Jesus, the spirit that raised Jesus, but I thought Jesus was the Father. You knew that was Christ that raised Jesus. Now you messed it up and turned around and said, and he that raised up Christ from the dead shall quicken your mortal bodies. But the spirit that dwells, by the spirit that dwells in you, that's Christ, that's the Ruach HaKodesh. They knew that that's who had risen Yeshua. There it is. It's telling you that raised up Yeshua from the dead. If that same spirit dwells in you, you see? Verse 12, therefore, brethren, they messed up verse 11. You can figure that out. You can see it, you don't even have to figure it out. You can see where they smeared it to confuse you because they got confused in what they were doing. Verse 12, therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. But if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. Now watch this. For as many as led by the Spirit of Yah, they are the sons of Yah. Now, why is it in Genesis chapter 6? Watch this, y'all. I know I shouldn't go here, but I'm going to go and just mess with you. Why in Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, it says that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took their wives as many, them wives, all which they chose. Now, why was the son of Yah different from the son of Yah? Y'all, I shouldn't have told y'all that, because I know that's going to throw you all the way off. In verse 14, for as many as are led by the Spirit of Yah, when we are led by the Spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh, then they are the sons of Yah. So how was the sons of Yah the fallen angel? It don't make sense. I've said it, and I think I made a good 200 videos explaining to y'all they are lying. The sons of Yah are those who come down to follow the Spirit of Yah. They got off a course because they saw what the men were doing, and they were men as well. Okay, they saw what they were doing, and they wanted to do what the world was doing, and they began to do it with the worldly women, the daughters of the worldly man. And that's where the chaos really started, y'all. They lied to y'all about giants and all this. Father, it don't even matter. That's why I said to y'all about truth. I wouldn't even want you to endure truth, because you'll be a loony bird. And it's in y'all's best interest that y'all don't. Because as I see it, I'm sitting here showing you right here that when it's telling us a man and a woman coming together, they become one flesh. People make it on the word in this world as that's something good. But he's saying only if a woman is good and a man marries a Putin woman and a woman that is good, if he find it, this is a good thing. A woman that is good. See, what they didn't understand, and they wouldn't have taught you all, that even when Yah has directed us and he is in us, he has already assigned us from the kingdom, we can end up marrying someone that is not from the kingdom. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, it's not from the how would I say it? The spiritual ones, and we can connect. But he's telling them, but if you find a good woman, a prudent woman is woman of the Spirit. That's from who? Yeah. This is a good thing. So Yah will allow us to meet and become one in the flesh with someone, but it does not mean we are no longer in the flesh. We are in the body of Hamashiach. We just with someone in the flesh. You get what I'm saying? And we have united. That's why he called it unequally yoked. And he even got something for that. Why do he has something for that? Because he got a backup. Because he no longer hold you blameless. Because you are from him. And just because you united with someone that's a oneness in the flesh, in your flesh, in his flesh, you could still be the spiritual seed. Okay, so that's what it's talking about here in Romans chapter 8. But he's letting you know you got to walk in your mission. You cannot walk in his mission. If his mission is flesh, you still got to keep your mission. Because what? What do you mean, Deborah? Because a woman can sanctify her husband. And likewise, a husband can sanctify his wife. The one that is the spiritual one can sanctify the other. That's why he said, a man that findeth a wife is a good thing. And then it comes in 19 telling you, a man that findeth a prudent woman is from Yah. And he broke it down. She has characteristics of a spiritual woman, a woman from Yah. Okay? So, and it's what it does is it's allowed the men to really kind of look and wait a minute now. If I got something precious. If he says she's a good thing, he says she's a good thing because she's a good thing. He's talking about from the spiritual realm, she's a good thing. And that's why she's telling him. That's why it's telling him, you got a good thing. He that findeth a wife, findeth a good thing. He's talking about a spiritual woman. She might not even been spiritual when you got married. But the Father knows what he's talking about. He that findeth him a wife, this is a good thing. But then he turned around in 19 telling you a prudent woman. So we won't get all whacked and say just any woman. You see? Like the tribe of Judah. Oh, we can just get as many women as just get. But what if these women are not prudent women? Prudent. I think I'm saying it right. Or what if these women are not a good wife? From who? The Most High Yah. And this is, they choosing their lust. They choosing their desires. They're choosing their wants. In the what? In the flesh. Do you know when you're marrying your wife, it's flesh. It's the flesh that's lusting after one another. You didn't know that, did you? Oh, yes. It's all flesh. All flesh. That's why people think that being married is what Yah is, the desire of Yah. No. He didn't want us to be so unequally. But if we are unequally, it's because he's got one that is from him that is able to sanctify the one that is not. Whether it's the man that is the spiritual seed, or if it's the woman that's spiritual seed, he said the woman can sanctify her husband. And why wouldn't they put that? Now, that's what it says. But I believe it's vice versa. But why would they put that in a book and teach people that, wait a minute, a woman can really bring holiness to her husband, but then treat women like they trash? It's crazy, y'all. It does not make sense. The Roman Catholic and the Jesuits and the fake Jews, they didn't did a work in this book on people. That's why he said, y'all, tarry for me, I come and I live in you. And from that level, I will teach you all things. That's what we should have been waiting for. Okay? So let me show y'all something. Now, let's go. He wanted us to know, all in Romans chapter 7, verse 14, that the flesh is not something, hey, I don't deal with that. I don't deal with flesh. Okay, let me tell y'all. Let me show y'all something. I'm going back to Psalms 51. I'm just going to show y'all a little something about how them back in the days already knew this. They knew. We today make it about everything. We've just put everybody under the umbrella of the Most High. We do. We don't care what. You just put everybody. But when I go into Psalms 51, and I hear this in Psalms 51 in verse 5, when David says, behold, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin, did my mother conceived me. What the rats behind is David saying? David saying flesh on flesh is sin. Flesh on flesh is exactly what he said. Flesh cannot serve the Most High Yah. We're serving each other out of lust a lust, desire, and feeling. So David is telling you, verse 5, behold, I was shaped in iniquity. That means flesh. And in sin, my mother conceived me in sin. Because you all will not accept the fact that our nasty flesh is sin. We were born into it. Yeshua, when he was born, guess what? He was born to this world in what? Flesh. That's how he came under the flesh law. Born under that law, even though there was another law in him. Praise the mighty Yah. And they won't teach and preach that either. Because that law that was in him was greater than the law that was on the outside that he was born into. So they didn't do nothing when they took that life. They took that flesh. But that flesh laid his life down for our flesh. He didn't lay his life down for our spirit. He laid his life down for the sin that we continue to do after what Adam had done. He just pulled up and showed us that what Adam done, y'all can do better. That's all. He was just trying to teach us that we can do better than what he did. And he taught us, he showed us, he did an excellent job, making sure we knew who the Father was and knew who he was. He laid that flesh down for all mankind. He didn't redeem everybody from that flesh. He hear people today say, yeah, he forgive me for my sin. That's why Jesus Christ died for my sins. Baby, you are alive from the pit of hell. Yeshua died for your sin that Adam committed in the garden. The flesh died for the flesh sin, but the Spirit of Christ, which is the Son of Yah, he's the one that redeemed us. So the mission was, I'm not going to send you down here to flesh to die for only those that's going to be redeemed. I'm going to want you to die for all mankind. Since Adam usher all sin on all man, you're going to die for all man's sin. Now, how you like me now? You can't sin in the spirit. You can only sin in the flesh. People, now so dye your eggs and start to celebrate Easter. Because that's how far you far from truth. He died for all man's sin. The Son of Man come to die as a man for all man's sin. But the Son of Yah, which is Christ, he raised the Son of Man up on the third day to redeem us back to the Father. Because we were all heading to eternal death. So they think, but something took place before the foundation of the world. The Lamb was slaughtered to redeem us back to the Father. Who is he redeeming back? Redeem everyone that is written in the Lamb book of life. If you ain't written in the Lamb book of life, he ain't redeeming your tail back to nowhere but hell. That's what people messed up. And when I said to y'all in the beginning how I wouldn't want you to have to endure truth, that's how heavy truth is. It's so heavy, it don't give a rest behind if you get it or not. It stands alone with righteous. It don't care if you get it or not. It stands heavy, y'all. It stands powerful. It don't care if you get it or not. And I wouldn't want you to have to endure it. Because you would have to understand it. You would have to get it. You would have to feel that thing. You would have to rest in sorrow. You would have to endure. You would have to long suffer it. all in the patience of the Father. So even David told you, even when his mother conceived him in sin, sin is to the flesh. Having a baby don't mean a rat's behind. Nothing but flesh. You know why? People have no idea. It's what spirit you come down here in. It's called born of the Spirit. When you are born of the Spirit, you come down to represent the Spirit of the Father and walk therein. Walk with him, behind him. When you are born of the flesh, you come down here doing exactly what you're doing. Nothing. Walking behind your own flesh, smelling your own tail, using your own righteousness, using your own wisdom, using your own knowledge. Don't have Yah's understanding. You using everything that deals with people's flesh. So this lesson is telling you all, when people come into a oneness, like I'm gonna give you all kind of things. People will come into a oneness at a funeral. Never knew this person at all, but the funeral is packed. This person, many people know this person has done all kind of wicked and evil, but everybody at the funeral coming into a oneness to lie about the person that's dead. A oneness. Flesh then lost its life and no breath in them and no spirit. But yet, look at how the world come into a oneness like this person was strictly from the kingdom and then done all the good on the earth. People will come into a oneness not knowing that this is just a flesh thing right here. This is just a thing we tend to come together for. Easter, Christmas, the 4th of July, Thanksgiving. See, I don't go bothering people who wants to choose those pagan holidays. Because if I'm going to bother them, I'm going to have to pull up on those who don't respect my Father for a season. Because that's a holiday inside of a holiday inside of a holiday. But it's a type of holiday that lasts 3 months. But see, you ain't recognized it, have you? You ain't recognized that the Father have what the world call holidays. The Father have days that he have set up in 4 seasons for 3 months per season. And now one of them you give a rat's behind to respect those days. They run around here looking at the moon, worshiping the moon, the stars, the sun. Respect what he has given you. He's given you 4 seasons, 3 months to each season. Respect those seasons. Take advantage of it. It was for you. The earth takes advantage of it. What's wrong with you? And then they want to pull up and talk about what's going on. What is the true New Year? Sit your tail down. You don't do nothing on that 3 months. No way. You take one day. Say this is the New Year. So what? What you gonna do about it? Recognize that in that season where things that were dead begin to come alive, which is April, recognize it in the 3 months that Yah has given it to you. And then when that pour down and the summer pour up, recognize. Thank the Father for his 4 seasons. He gave you 3 months out of each one of them, but you over here messing with people who celebrating the pagan holidays. What kind of rats behind is that? Okay, we're gonna have to cut somebody out if they bring in all kind of things that they ain't got no business bringing into the live. Okay, so again, you got to understand. But we want to celebrate. This is going back, telling you how Sister Deborah started the conversation about truth. People don't want truth, y'all. And you know what? They don't need it. Because truth is so powerful. It ain't gonna lie for you, y'all. It ain't gonna let you hide from it. It's gonna wake you up in the midnight hour. It's gonna show you right from wrong. This truth is no play. It's gonna let you see where everybody at while you going straight. I'm going this way, and I got a 2 million going that way at the same time. That's what truth do. It lets you go by yourself. And then we wonder why the gate is said to be narrow. And what is it with this gate that somebody has to find it? Because the gate already know who's coming through the gate. That's why. The gate already arranged who's coming to the narrow gate. He ain't worried about the broad one. He know everybody going that route. But that narrow gate, oh, he knows who's coming through that. That's a part of what I was saying. Enduring the truth. Truth comes with enduring. Endure. You have to endure something in this truth. Not follow all of these traditions in this world that's telling us this. You know, if we just if we just knew how to just, I ain't gonna say we, I'm gonna tell that right now. I'm gonna tell them like it is. Before I put your head on his bosom, and you can hear him good. To tell the truth and shame the devil. Put your head on his bosom, and you can hear him. You can understand him clear. Okay, so even David letting us know that the flesh is sin. It has iniquity in it. Everything we do in the flesh is sin. It's what we do in the spirit that separate us from sin itself. Because we think that's the opposite. We take it for the opposite. We take the sin and we put it to the side and make the flesh everything righteous and then have no sense of the spirit. That's how gone people are. Far from any truth. So now we go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 2. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, 14 and 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14 and 15. What do you all have? Okay, let me look at some things here. Let me see who I'm 1 Corinthians chapter 2. And we're going to go to 14 and 16. Let's see here. Okay, let me kind of help you out a little bit. Okay. Now, in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14 and 16. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14 and 16. Hear this, y'all. Watch what this says. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of Yah. What is the natural? What do it means when it says natural? When it says the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit. What do they mean by that? Anybody? The flesh. That's what it actually means. That the flesh receiveth not the things of Yah. Now let's go right back to what we were talking about. You remember a man leave his flesh mama, his flesh daddy, and they cleave to his flesh wife, and they become what? One flesh. So what the Father is actually saying, don't take that to be something, because that is the way it is. People would take it and make that righteous and say that that's what you call righteous. This is how it is. That's what he said. A man leave his mother and father. He cling to his wife and they become one. And just imagine, just like I tell y'all about the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega, They can quote that just as smooth and have no truth of what it means. None whatsoever. They have. Why? Because they forsaken the power in the beginning, and they forsaken the power in the end. But yet it's so smooth when they say he's the beginning and the end. He is Alpha and Omega. And if only they understood Omega, the end, they'll realize his power. They don't know. They don't understand when you're saying that. What is in the beginning? What makes him the beginning? What is in the end? What makes him Alpha and Omega? They don't know. They just something they so used to saying, it just sounds good when they say it to themselves. So here in 2 Corinthians, it's saying the same thing. A man leaves his mother and father, which is flesh, and flesh, cling to what? A flesh wife. And they are now, instead of two flesh, one. So right there, you have to see that the father is not so fascinated by a man leaving his mother and father, which is flesh, and clinging to his wife, and they are two flesh. Now they become one flesh. And no one can explain it to you. Watch this. So when you get to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14, it says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of Yah. The natural man is flesh. Okay? For they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Verse 15. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself judge no man. Read it again, verse 15. For he that is spiritual judges all things. A lot of people don't believe that the Father expects you to be able to discern. And with the righteous discernment, you're able to judge all things. You see? And when you're able to do that, you can help the society. This is but see what has happened. Everybody has done away with every spiritual gift that Yah has ushered onto the earth. And they have chosen to go the other way and wait for the world to tell them when and how to use the gifts in which the Most High has poured out from the kingdom. That's why nobody won't practice or won't show the gifts. It's because they have allowed their flesh to overpower the gifts that were given to them. And they rather walk in the way of their flesh than to walk in the way of your calling, which is spiritual. And then it says here in 15, but he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judge of no man. When we got a purpose down here, anyone else's judgment don't mean a rat's behind. Your purpose in the spirit is to judge matters, especially if you got the spirit of discerning. What would it look like if he's telling you to try the spirit by the spirit? That's a form of judgment. But no one wants you to practice none of that because it tells on people. So they prefer you to not even, go that route. They like to stay at the level of where only flesh on flesh. So verse 16 says, for who has known the mind of Yah, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. We have the mind of Christ. Now, go back to that verse in verse 14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the spiritual Yah. The natural man means the flesh man. You see? So when he's saying man, you get your woman, your wife, and y'all married. That's just flesh, baby. That's just flesh. Y'all just flesh together. That's all he's saying. We made it something that it is not. That's why he wanted us to understand what equal mean. He wanted us to understand what equal, but in our time, we never used equal. Those things wasn't applied to us when we were marrying. You see, that was never taught to us. That was never given to us. But if we can just look back over our lives, we can see where a lot of things we never knew. That's going back to what I was just saying in the beginning. To endure truth is to know what things really is in the spirit realm, even into this very day. And that's something people are not ready for. So that's why he said it's over. He's not sending no one down here to make you collect all the balls that's been dropped. Okay. So that helps out, because a lot of people think when it says marrying, that's a big thing in the eyes of Yah. And I'm gonna tell you the only thing that caused him to create that, then y'all understand it better. It's only one way that he created it to be, but it does not mean that you're here representing him because you find a wife and you marry her and y'all just in the flesh. Okay. Now, Romans chapter 13 and verse 14. In Romans chapter 13 and verse 14. In Romans chapter 13, and right now, people are just looking for anyone. They don't care who people are. They just want what they want. Romans chapter 13, verse 14, and it reads, "But put on ye the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof." Going right back again. Look at that word flesh. Is that the same flesh when he said a man leave his mother and father, which is flesh, and he cleave to his wife? Is that not flesh? It's the same flesh, y'all. It's still meaning flesh. But it's the way that they have ruled this world and has gotten us to believe that that means a way of Yah that's righteous. And that's on us, because I'm going to tell you the truth. If people would think about who did the crucifixion back in the days, the same Roman Catholics that rule the world today. There you go. But you don't see nobody saying nothing, nobody doing nothing, nobody don't even talk about it. Yes, Israel were the one that set them up, but they didn't do the crucifixion. They wasn't the system. It was the Roman Catholics, the same one that runs y'all tails now, the same one that gave y'all education from kindergarten, from preschool to science, to all of that. They were the ones set all that up. And that's what y'all living on right today. That's why nobody don't have no say, or don't say anything. They don't talk about it. They don't tell you nothing. Even in the place of people worship and where they go, and even on YouTube, people don't care if YouTube ain't nobody on YouTube talking. They don't care. They just the lie. People are tuned in to the lie. Now, Galatians, in the book of Galatians, chapter 16. No, chapter 5. The book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 16 to 18. Let's see what it's saying. "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh." Now, there you go. What is it that we do not understand about a man and a woman coming together and becoming one flesh? What is it that fascinates people as if this is such a godly thing. This is such a spiritual thing. This is why families don't participate in any type of spiritual gathering and spiritual connection or spiritual setting. Is because they made their own living to be what they call light. You see, here it says in Galatians chapter 5 verse 16, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Verse 17, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these things are contrary one to another, so that we cannot do the things that ye would. Verse 18, but if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the flesh law. All right? Okay. Now watch verse 19. Listen to verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifested, which are these. So there's things about the flesh that's already in the flesh, which is sin, iniquity. You see? So just because he's telling a man that marry a woman, y'all become one flesh, he just saying sin, y'all. Instead of being two sin, you one. That's all he's saying. You see, we didn't took it and we don't understand. That's why the wife is looking for the husband to really turn to them in a way that he's given all of himself to her, because they telling them that you eliminate your mom and daddy because she said you leave them. They didn't understand what that leave was. They were taking care of his tear. You see? They don't understand that. Now, I've heard throughout my living, too many of them didn't went through it. Too many people didn't gone through it. And even many of them are living with it now. So my question would be back to the Father. When you said in Malachi, and you said in Matthew chapter 10, and you said in Malachi chapter 7, and Matthew chapter 10, and Luke chapter 12, that you come to bring division in a house. And I always question why the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law. Because that's the only connection in the beginning. Is that a man will leave his mother and father and he will cling to his wife. When the father already know when that happened, that bring division. He already know it. Let me tell you what I did, y'all. I said, well, okay, Father, why wasn't the son-in-law and the father-in-law? I asked that question because y'all do not know 6 times is it in there. Daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. And I always ask that question. I said, that don't even make no sense. That don't make no sense. You know why it didn't make no sense? Because I'm looking at it in a different way. But what makes it make sense is when he pull up and say, I come to bring the sword, to bring division in a house. So the division between the mother and the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. And then he pulled over here. He said, I come, if you think that I come to bring peace in Luke, no, I come to bring division, to separate. That's what he said. The daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law. Well, what's the deal with the mother and daughter-in-law? It's because the daughter-in-law don't really understand. She thinks that he's supposed to leave his mother and father and cleave to her. She don't understand all you getting is flesh. Do you know what his flesh is? And do he know what your flesh is? Sin. Iniquity. You see? You see the ignorance? So it all makes sense. But you would never be able to connect it because all these tribe of Judah always talk about many wives and many this and many that. And these men figured you leaving your mother and your father, go out there and just get as many women as you want. You dealing with spirits, bro. You dealing with iniquity and sin. You getting these wives and you don't even understand. He said they become one flesh. How is it that you can have 6 and 7, 9, 10, and 20 wives? How is that one flesh? Yeah, right. You see, it doesn't make any sense. And they don't care where we at today. They don't care about anything making any sense. People are so content exactly where things are at, to where Sister Deborah, a prophetess in the wilderness, say to you all today, I wouldn't want you to endure truth because it comes with a price and it don't feel good. I'm not a dead prophet, I'm a living one. Truth comes with a price. You think all those people who went out and served Yah with truth lost their lives for nothing? Did not they have a price on their head? All because of what? Truth. So you think today truth is supposed to be easy for those who are what? Called to serve, to teach and preach truth. It ain't easy, y'all. Only thing different is I'm willing to tell the truth of the whole matter. I'm not bought by the world. You see? I'm not under the law of this world. But I can tell you one thing. Truth is a very, very powerful thing to know, to have, to walk therein. Are you covered by the Most High? 100%. But to know truth, to speak truth, to walk in truth, to hear truth is a very powerful thing. And it comes with a price. So if you're wondering why people don't, and why, I'm me myself, I haven't seen them drop the, I ain't seen them, but I read and understand by the Holy Spirit that the ball was dropped in Genesis 1. Never been picked up. Do you know what that means, y'all? Truth got lost in darkness. And you wonder why he's Omega. And you wonder why the knees gonna bow and the tongue gonna confess. Truth been left way back in Genesis. And just imagine how I must feel to know that the ball was dropped way back then on any and everything that I come and present to you all. That's a long time. And this is why people come and go. Because that's how powerful truth is. It's too much for them to handle because they've been taught the lie since they were born. They would rather die before truth shine light on them or in them. They would rather die. They don't even want to hear none of it. They don't want even not a pin needle of it. And I, Sister Deborah, tells you today, I don't blame them. They couldn't handle it no way. The ball has been dropped. The last is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14. 14 says, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by his wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by her husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are holy. What is sanctified? What is sanctified? Anyone? Let's get sanctified Hebrew and sanctified in English. Someone says set apart. That's one. There's something that's a little bit powerful than set apart. What is another one? Sanctified. In Hebrew. Declared holy. There you go. Holy. So see women, see men. When you are a believer, the Father will consider your husband and your children. It's just where you stand with him. Praise the mighty God. To where he, the Father, is willing to make him holy. And your children. Just imagine all these households to where people just assume flesh and flesh become flesh and we just holy. Do y'all know 99.9 people think that? But what's the mystery in this, y'all? What's the mystery in 14? That the husband that is sanctified by his wife is that prudent woman, woman, wife, and that's that good wife. Likewise, with the husband, he's a man after the spirit of Yah. She's a woman that's after the spirit of Yah. You see how I think about us? You see how the Father don't forget us? You know how he did Job? Look at how he did Job. Y'all don't get it, do you? Why did he keep Job's wife even though she said, curse your God and die? He kept her because of Job. Why did he kill Job's children? Anybody know? Why did he allow death to come upon Job's children? Anybody know? Anybody? Why did he allow that? Yep, he saint. There it is. That's a sign of how he sanctified Job's wife. They were wicked. Exactly. Do you know what they were doing? Something you have never heard nobody preach and teach. Things that's so wicked and evil. Job had 7 sons. 7 sons represent 7 days. And his 3 daughters. Every day they party hardy. They didn't invite friends and so on. It was just them. So you just imagine. Anybody that party that hardy every day of the week, they had to been doing some partying. But what did he do? He took them all out at the same time. Could he have saved Job's children? Yeah, but they were flesh. He gave them children of the spirit at the end. But they were some sort of wicked children. To the point, to me, I said to the Father, yeah, I sure did. What did Job mean they might have sinned? Bro, tell the truth. They have sinned. Look at your butt. You taking everything you got to sacrifice for each one of them every day in the morning. You taking 10 of your animals and sacrifice them every morning. Just imagine what that would have been like. Your kids is out here sinning, and you taking for each one of them, you sacrificing a lamb or whatever, or sheep, just to cover their sin. Y'all, that had to have been some sort of work. Getting up time of morning to go kill those animals, hoping that y'all would use your sacrifice for their sin. Y'all go down there and whoop their heads. That's what you should have did. Like David, when his son did what they did. David didn't say a mumbling word. David didn't do nothing. Nothing. Even after one did to his daughter, David never stepped in and did nothing. I don't know, y'all. I just don't know. But here in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 14, it says, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife. Let me tell y'all what it's telling you. It's telling you that the wife is a believer. Okay. So she has that brand belief. Okay. And a husband, it can be a wife or it can be a husband that is a believer. And I like this here. And it says that you can sanctify your husband, and else, and the husband can sanctify his wife, else where your children are unclean, but now are they holy. You see that? That's a blessing. Y'all has to be in the midst, y'all. He ain't looking at a man and a woman, and just because you married and y'all become one, oh, you holier than thou. No, that's not what he's saying. Something in you has to already be branded in you, if it's not in both of you. And the mystery, not the mystery, because he's really wanting to set an example as Christ being the body of Hamashiach and the church is inside of Christ. Okay. But another thing about it is the form that he created was to bring life in through the unity of becoming one in the flesh, to bring other life in that way, of a man and a woman becoming into one unity of the flesh. So it makes sense what David was saying, that his mother conceived him in sin. You see? The flesh. He said the flesh. So it goes right back. And I try to explain to people, when people have babies, that's the reason why he say it's time to cry. Why? He said a child is born of a few days and full of iniquity, trouble. Now someone wonder, a few days, come on, what could they possibly have done? Because they're born into sin. You see, I don't know why is it that people have, I do know why. Why would I say I don't know why? This is just the ball that has been dropped, that haven't been given to people to know, have a clearer picture of really what is actually taking place in this day and time. And it's because it's worse than ever. So truth really can't just be pulled up and you get it. And you know what? To really have it, I wouldn't want no one to have to endure having truth, because it's not a good feeling. And yes, the Ruach can be in me and full up in me, but it is a feeling, y'all, one has. And you know why? You think that all of those others that was before us were murdered speaking truth. So to make it today like truth is just cotton candy and it's easy and it's just simple, y'all fooling y'allself. That's why ain't nobody speaking it. Did y'all know that? That's why people don't speak it. People are not speaking truth. You all giving them more credit than they giving themselves. They know they ain't speaking truth. They sold out for that 501(c) or C3 or whatever. They sold out to the world. It's no way I'm going to speak truth when I got all these people following me. For what? If I didn't spoke the lie all this time, why would I look like speaking truth? That's how powerful truth is. That the people will rather hold on to the lie than even touch the rim of anything that is truth. So what it comes down to me, somebody like me, I have to live and die with the truth that rests within me and the words in which I speak out of me through or from the Holy Spirit. And I have to just look at it like that, because just how many people are away from anything that is true. Now that what I was showing you an example of how flesh has gotten the victory on this earth, making us take the lie that caused flesh is uniting together. It's all that and some. Not looking at the fact that when he says flesh is his enemy, we ain't looking at that. See, and so when you see these people talking about polygamy, and he's telling you a man will leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, cleave. So, and they become one flesh. Well, what is these other women? Your wives. Why would he turn around and give you the privilege to have more than one wife when he said you become one with one? You see, it's just a lot of things. Yeah, it's just, to me, the endurance is things to me. When I see it, I'm like saying, it's just plainly understood. Father, it's plainly seen. It's right before. But that's what I suffer even in that. That to know that the truth is just that's right there at hand reach. But yeah, everybody not only teaching it, they preaching it, they revealing it, and they got the comfort and assurance that they're the one that are of Yah, and they lying. That's what he meant in Romans 1. I put it in them, Deborah, so they are without excuse. They took the unrighteous instead of taking the righteous. That's what he said. And that's way it appeared. And then I'm sitting here trying to grip the fact that, you know what, that's heavy. To know that they're not going to get it. They're not going to grip it. It's not going to be there for them to embrace. Because too much of the lie been spoken to truth don't have no space, none whatsoever. And when it pull up, it's some endurance that comes along with it. So I, Sister Deborah, appreciate each and every last one of you tuning in this evening. And I hope you got something out of it. But the more and more the Spirit reveal things to me, the more and more I look out and I say, Father, they can't touch this. They can't touch this. And it goes right back to that narrow gate. But I said they couldn't, didn't I? I told you something one must find. And the only way they're going to find it if I lead them in that direction. So you got to understand that too need be. So I, Sister Deborah, appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. And I hope you got something out of it, because I did. And I say unto you, have a wonderful night. Shalom and shalom.